Okay, well, just looked up whether I'd be able to do any blitzing with the unit that crossed the river. I didn't find anything that would prevent it from doing it. The only problem would be that he would have to attack another unit that's also in a green area, since this one is actually in a yellow area. He wouldn't be able to do that. Then another option would be an exploitation move after actually reducing the activated headquarters, but I'm just going to wait a little bit with that because what I actually forgot to do is to activate Deedle on the trail to Murmansk and Mannerheim as well, so I will still do that too, but yeah, what I could do afterwards is I could play an exploitation move, but as you can see, hopefully, I have two units that would actually be able to do any exploiting, which is this unit and this unit. And I could go around these units, but by putting them here, I would make myself very vulnerable to a Soviet counterattack. Even because these two units would not be isolated, so they could just attack backwards, so to speak. And they would still be in supply. The only unit I would actually be able to put out of supply is this one. But that seems like a pretty steep price to pay. I mean, you know, giving up the initiative disc to encircle just a single unit. So I guess I'm just not going to do that. What I am going to do is, as I said, I'm going to activate Deedle and Mannerheim. Okay, so Deedle is on the trail to Murmansk. Here he is. And this is Mannerheim. Deedle is going to, it's actually, I think it's a very simple way of, you know, incorporating the battle in northern Norway, northern Russia, so, you know, the trail to Murmansk. In a very simple, fun way. It is effective because you do need to keep spending HQ regeneration points on Deedle, otherwise you'll never get to Murmansk, and it's just as valuable as any of the other victory point objectives. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll 4 dice because he's at strength 4. Hitting on a 5 and 6, and each 5 and 6 I roll actually will allow me to advance 1 space towards Murmansk. Now I actually roll a 5 and a 6, so I get to advance 2 areas, which isn't too bad. Okay, I've also activated Mannerheim, and I'm going to try and do is at least pin down the Soviet units here in the north, so they won't be able to, you know, to reinforce the front further south, which is probably more critical. Now let's see. Let's not make it too difficult. These are all red and yellow areas, so the stacking limit is 2. Just going to put in this unit here and this unit here. Going to engage this one as well. Here and here. This one. One unit that can actually get there. Yep. And yeah, I'm wondering if it would be a very smart move to attack Viborg, but anyway, just to show you how combat goes in a fortified city. That's kind of defensive line as well. I'll do it anyway. I do have a strong unit here, and I'm going to add the Finnish heavy artillery. Okay, so let's start with the first battle. Just going to do it exactly the other way around I just showed you. So I'm going to start with the one in Viborg, which is a 4-strength red dotted Finnish unit, supported by the heavy artillery, against a 3-strength black dotted Soviet unit and the defensive line, which I tend to forget that they actually roll a single die as well, heading on a 6. Just going to put something in the area to remind me that it's actually there. Not that I'm likely to forget it at this moment, but who knows. By the way, before I forget, the other video, I don't know what happened, but it just stopped. Manstein also attacked, but the attack went, didn't go too well. There was one surviving Soviet block, just one dot, but it's still there. So that really messed up my plans there. Anyway, first I'm going to roll for the Finnish artillery. It's very effective, hitting on 4s, 5s, and 6s. So Mannerheim's got a strength of 3. So I'm going to roll 3 dice. That's 1 hit, 1 4. So I'm going to, which is actually absorbed by the terrain. So I'm just going to put a die here to remind me. So that's 1 hit so far, but nothing happened. Then we get Finnish sniping, if I'm not mistaken. But no, we don't get it because it's not allowed in an area that contains either a city or a defensive line, and this one happens to contain one of each. So there's no way I'm going to get to do any sniping. So now the Russians get to fight back, defend themselves. So they get to roll 4 dice, hitting on 6s, because the 3-strength unit and the defensive line. That's 1 hit, so that reduces the Finnish unit to 3. And now the Finns get to attack. 3 dots left, hitting on 4s, 5s, and 6s. That's 2 hits. Okay, so we have 1 hit, which is absorbed by, so in total, let me do this right. We have 1 hit already. Now we have 2 hits more. That's 3 hits. 3 hits in total for the Germans. Russians scored 1 hit. But the 3 German hits, one is absorbed by the terrain, another one is absorbed by the city, Viborg, and the third one is absorbed by the defensive line. So the Russians don't actually suffer any damage whatsoever. So they are still in the area. The Finns remain there with them. The heavy artillery, I'm just going to return to its base, so to speak. They did not make a breakthrough there. Okay, we move on to the adjacent battle, which shows a Finnish 3-strength unit, red dots. This one, here it is, hope you can see it, and 2-strength Russian unit in yellow terrain. So here we do get to do some sniping, because there's no defensive line, there's no town. So first we get Finnish sniping. There's no absorb bonus against that, so if I do actually manage to get a 4, 5, or 6 here, because it depends on the strength of unit, and this one is a very strong unit. I roll a 5, so the Soviet unit is reduced to 1. It now gets to counterattack, rolling 1 die. Hitting on a 6, it does roll a 6. The attacker never gets any defensive bonuses, so the Finnish unit is reduced. And now it gets to roll 3 dice. Hitting on 5s and 6s. That is 1 more hit, because I see 1 5. But the problem is it's absorbed by the terrain. Finnish sniping, there's no defense against it, but this is a regular attack, so there is defense against it. So the Russians hold their ground here as well. We move on to the next battle. So again, adjacent 2 Finnish units this time. Maximum stacking against a red dotted, no, not a red dotted, a black dotted Russian unit of with a strength of 2. Yep. So let me see. First we get some Finnish sniping. I believe each unit gets a snipe. So 1 will do so, hitting on 5s and 6s. That's a miss, and 1 will do so on 4, 5s and 6s. That's a hit. So the Russian unit is down to 1. Now the Russian unit gets to counterattack, hitting on a 6. That's a 1, so that's a miss. Now the Finns get to attack normally. 2 dice hitting on 4s, 5s and 6s. That's 1 hit. But it's absorbed by the terrain. And now another one hitting on 5s and 6s. That's 2 hits, so that's very fortunate. So that's actually enough to eliminate the unit. It goes into the draw bag, into the Soviet reinforcements pool. I have to admit, the first time I played it went much better for the Axis at first. But okay, it makes it fun. Not every game is the same. And the last fight in the north. Yep, again in a red area. Yeah, 2 Finnish units, 1 unit with a strength of 2 red dots, 1 unit with a strength of 1 white dots, and the Russian unit is a strength 2 unit, black dots. Rolling for the Finnish sniping first. Yes, no town. That's a hit on a 4, which is a hit because it's a red dotted unit. The other unit gets to do some sniping as well on a 5 and 6. That's a miss, so the Soviets get to counterattack. That's a 3, so it's a miss. Now I get the regular Finnish attack. 2 dice hitting on 4. 4 plus, obviously, that's a 5, so that's 1 hit. But it's absorbed by the terrain. And 1 die hitting on a 5 and 6, that's a hit. But that's also absorbed by the terrain because it's red terrain and it's got an absorb bonus of 2. So this Russian unit survives as well. Okay, I should leave the Finnish units open and visible here. Okay, well, now I'm just going to deactivate my headquarters because that's the next step after combat. As I said, I'm not going to blitz, I'm not going to do any exploitation moves because I don't think it's actually worth the spending of the initiative disc. It will be a very limited use. So I'm going to put this one upright again as well. This one upright. This one, headquarters, is being reduced. Same goes for this one. Same goes for this one. And the other 3 units are still locked in combat. As you can see here, you didn't see it in the first video, but as you can see, Manstein's units are still locked in combat, so they remain visible as the Russian is the original defender and remains in control of the area. Okay, I do believe that concludes the German turn. Just deactivated, no exploitation. Yes, that concludes the German first impulse, not turn. Sorry, important in this game to get this right. So it concludes the first German impulse. Next will be the Soviet first impulse.